Scenic. Oh, not as in like the old one, like the one from the 90s or the early noughties. You remember that? That was like really beige and really boring, and it was just like this family MPV. And then you know what happened? Everyone wanted something different instead. Families wanted something cool for their family wheels. They wanted a cool SUV, and would you believe it? 5 years after the old Renault Scenic got the chop, we're introduced to this. A nice, cool family SUV. Yeah. The thing is Renault describe it as anything but an SUV. Actually, I've seen on one of their descriptions that they've called it a family solutions vehicle. And I'll be honest, probably down the line somewhere there'll be an executive that calls this a crossover, but this is definitely an SUV, isn't it? I mean, size-wise, it's about the same size as a Nissan Qashqai and a Peugeot 3008, which are both what? SUVs. Yes, they are. But have a look at the styling. Write in the comment section below what you think, because I think it looks quite nice. I really love this front grille. I think that's a really lovely design, and obviously it's got all of your sensors and stuff built in. That all comes as standard. So you've got, you know, your rear camera, you've got your adaptive cruise control, etc. All your sensors are all in there. Now we have the Alpine version, which doesn't change anything to do with the way that it drives. It's just like a styling funk up, that's what it is. But you've got things like the Alpine badge that's included, and who doesn't want to be connected to an awesome Formula One team? I know, right? We also get the bigger wheels, so these are 20 inches. We've got the funkier wheel design as well, and as you come down the car, flush door handles, which we are a big fan of. You've got the flush roof rails. If you do go for the separate colour roof, that's an extra 500 quid, but I do think it looks very nice. But you come down the back, everything is all so neat and tidy and really lovely to look at. The LED lights, rear wiper, yes, wonderful. Should we look in the boot while we're here? Okay. This is huge, by the way. Look at that! It's like a cave, or more like a well, because it's really deep. We've got 545 litres of space in here. But yes, it will be tricky to get things in and out. We've currently got Manos's camera equipment in here. But look at that lip. That goes, if I put my hand on the floor, that's the lip, goes all the way up to my arm there. But they are saying that they will be, if you want, they can include like a fake floor, so then you can hide your cables and stuff underneath there. Otherwise it's just going to be cavernous cable mess, isn't it? But that's a lovely size boot. I mean, that is Skoda Enyaq size, isn't it? Oh, those rear seats, they split into 3 parts if you want to fold them down, which is really good because you can drop that middle bit on its own if you're carrying longer items like, I don't know, a curtain pole or something, and you can still have 4 people sat on board. The entry-level Techno trim really does have everything that you would want, including keyless entry, heated steering wheel and seats, parking sensors and camera, ambient lighting, climate control, wireless phone charging. It really does have a lot of kit for the money. If you were to go for the top spec iconic trim, then you get real wood inserts, light coloured fabric upholstery, and you also get to ask for it to give you a massage. Yeah, because the seats can give you a massage. But also included in that, and in this Alpine version, you've got a 360-degree view parking camera and a Harman Kardon sound system. Lovely. Ah, look at the blue. That blue looks great. Look, oh my God. This is huge. What? Hold on a minute. No, that's this really big back here. That is set up for my driving position. No. I mean, the wheels are pushed all the way out, aren't they? I'm very impressed. I'm really impressed by that. Look at all. Oh, see, I love these in a Renault. You get these in the Megane as well, don't you, to put your little phone in and stuff. That's really nice. A couple of charge ports down there. I love the blue floor. I think the Alpine vibe is really cool. Oh, nice. A couple of cup holders. And a couple of charge ports there as well. What's that? Right. I reckon you can get an iPad in there then. Yes! Stop it. Or if you're watching something, just you. Oh my goodness. That's amazing. That is amazing. As a passenger back here, That is absolutely cracking. Because you could put like a whole iPad here. Then say you've got like kids back here, they could just sit here and watch the iPad and they will just be quiet the entire journey. How brilliant is that? Or they can watch something on their own phones or on their own iPads while they've got a drink in place, or they can put something on here. That feels really nice as well. That's blown my mind. Also, it feels more spacious back here as well because of the panoramic roof. That's wonderful. Also, that's really satisfying to do. Oh God, I'm like a kid in a toy shop in here. That is great. Do I have to shut that? Shut that. That's neat as well though, isn't it? Yeah. Well done, Renault. That's brilliant. That's brilliant. I like that. Right, let's check out the front seats. So you know I mentioned earlier the entry-level trim, the Techno version, and how much kit you get for your money. I mean, with that version, you still get heated seats, heated steering, keyless entry, wireless phone charging. You get so much kit for your money, but obviously we have the Alpine version, so we have the splashes of blue, and we have the sport seats, which by the way are 100% recycled material, which we love to see. Very, very comfy, I can't lie, and I love the blue design that goes all the way around along the top here. Then you've got a bit of ambient lighting that comes here that changes colour when you change your drive modes from eco to sport, etc. That all changes. Everything in here I do think is really nicely laid out actually, and it's a really lovely thing to sit in. I love this screen here. So you've got a 12.3-inch screen that has all of your driving information, your battery information. That's how you see how strong you have your regen braking, which I'll show you in a minute when we go for a drive. And then in here, this is a 12-inch screen, which I really like the positioning of this screen because it's slightly tilted towards the driver and far enough away that you're not blocking anything with your hand here. This is all with a Google brain, but don't worry if you're an Apple fan, because it does have wireless CarPlay, so that's absolutely fine. Everybody's happy. But all in there is all Google. Ask Google to do whatever you want. Google Maps, everything, all in there. And actually, it's really intuitive, and all the buttons and everything just looks really nice. It's very smart, and as you're tapping buttons, it's reacting very, very quickly. You've got knobs for your fans and stuff, and for your temperature, which we love because I'm not a fan of having everything integrated into the screen. Do you also want to see something that I really, really love, which is the panny roof? It's not just any panny roof. You can open the panny roof. So do that. You should be. Can you see it? Look at it go. How do they do that? I don't actually know how that works, but that's really clever. You close it like that. Look. Oh, it's like a beach. It's like the tide's coming in. I love that. I can play with that all day. That's brilliant. But honestly, in here, visibility isn't the best. Like looking out of this mirror through the back isn't the best. But you do have digital camera built in, which takes a lot of getting used to. I've driven quite a few cars with these now. I'm not really a fan of them, but it might work for you. You might be okay with this. This is a very high quality camera and it does work, but you may prefer that to the tiny little windscreen that you've got going on back there. With regards to the steering wheel, there is a lot happening here. So you have your normal sort of indicator stalks, but then also you've got your gear selector up here, which is all right. I guess it kind of frees up a bit more space down here. And then if you've never driven a Renault or never driven a Dacia, your volume control is down here, just in case you have a panic and thinking, how do I do the volume? It's here. That's the same in all Renaults and all Dacias. I actually think it's quite a good idea because it keeps everything out of the way. Storage. Door bins. So there's a very nice material inside the door bins. I think that's just an Alpine thing because it's blue. It's the Alpine blue design inside the door bins. But they're okay. They're pretty shallow and pretty thin, but they're okay. Perfect size door bins, but everywhere else, look at all of this down here. So much space, and you can chop and change that. You can put a bowl in there if you ever want to put a bowl in there. That's totally fine. Then you've got a good cup holder there. What you got there? Oh, that's nice and deep. Yeah, that's good, that. Like that. That's pretty good. That's perfectly fine glove box. Have I missed anything? These seats are really comfortable, you know. Sport seats though, innit? You only get these in the Alpine. version. It's just, as soon as you see the Alpine logo, like I feel cooler, you know? I feel like a cool person driving this car, purely because of the Alpine logos. Speaking of driving, shall we? Come on then. Oh, blew on the seatbelts as well. I didn't even notice that. Yes. Come on then. I've turned the car off. Okay, let's go for a drive. Shall we take the scenic route? So yes, we have the bigger battery here. So we've got 215 brake horsepower. That will do 0 to 62 in just under 8 seconds. And do you know what? It feels perfectly fast enough. I mean, you've got a whole ton of driving modes to flick through. So it goes from eco mode. So let's go to eco mode. So that kind of just slows things down a little bit. It actually makes the steering a little bit, oh, it makes it a bit firmer. That's quite weird. I thought it was going to loosen it up a little bit and it didn't. And then you can go up to comfort, which again is perfectly fine. And then you've got sport mode. Boom. Sport mode is where you want to put your foot down and that's where you can feel the power. That's great. This is the kind of car, this doesn't need to be any faster than this, but it just feels really nice when it is going. Gives you that nice shove. And yes, you will win at all of the traffic lights if you are that person, because I am that person. You also have what's called perso mode, which I can only assume is because they couldn't fit the word personal on the screen. So it's called perso. But what that does is that allows you to adjust everything to how you like to have the car. So you can switch off all of the annoying beeps, which is what I've done. You can also change the lightness or the heaviness of the steering. You can change the throttle response. You can make everything behave around how you want the car to drive. So really, if you're driving this every day, that's just the mode you're probably going to leave it in, isn't it? I mean, it makes sense, doesn't it? In terms of regen braking, right, similar to the Renault Megane, you have flappy paddles here behind the steering wheel. So I can flap all the way to the left, and that gives me nothing. So essentially, my foot's not even touching the throttle right now. It's just cruising. It's just cruising. So that is nothing, and then I can put it up a level. I feel a little bit of breakage, up another level, bit more breakage. This is full, and it brings you down to a creep. It's not full one-pedal driving. So if you are a one-pedal driving fan and you like it to come to a complete stop, this is not the car for you. If you like it to come down to a nice creep and you like to feel that bit of breakage as soon as you lift your foot off the accelerator, then yes, it works very, very nicely. This doesn't have adaptive dampers, so you can't adjust the suspension at all in this thing. But I will tell you, it drives all right. And considering the fact we have the bigger wheels, so if you go for like the entry-level trim, then you can get 19-inch wheels, so that'll be way smoother than this. We've got the big 20-inch wheels, and it drives really nice. It just does. Like, it feels, it's smooth, it's quiet. You do have wind noise from the wing mirrors, but that's pretty much it. Apart from that, it's really lovely and smooth. And as you're taking corners, it doesn't roll at all. I mean, that's all thanks to the battery being on the floor, so you've got a low centre of gravity, which is just blooming lovely. But it's a really pleasant thing to drive. I'm having a lovely time. I can't really complain. I mean, I guess around town it might feel a bit busy, but no, on these country roads, this is working very, very nice. But the big selling point about this car is the range, right? So they're saying 379 miles, which is just wonderful.
Okay, so I've been getting 3.3 miles per kilowatt hour, which doesn't sound good, does it? But stay with me, because look, it's tricky to get a true test done while you are on a press launch because you only have a certain amount of time with the car. So here is my promise to you. When we get the car over to the UK, we will do a thorough drive and a thorough test and give you the official figures. Is that all right? Lovely.
Oh, okay, you want to hear about pricing and stuff. Totally fair. Right. So the cheapest Renault Scenic that you can buy will give you a 60 kilowatt hour battery, which gives you 260 miles worth of range, but you can only get that in the entry level Techno trim, which comes with plenty of kit and comes with a heat pump as standard, which is wonderful for efficiency. That is £37,500. If we were you, we would go for the longer range version. So with that, you get an 87 kilowatt hour battery, which gives you 379 miles worth of range, which is wonderful. £41,000 that will cost you, but you get a load more kit included and a bit more power as well, because this one, which is the longer range version that we've got here, has 215 brake horsepower, whereas the entry-level version has 168. So, you know. Plug in the 87 kilowatt hour Scenic into a rapid charger and it will suck up electricity at up to 150 kilowatts, provided that the charger is powerful enough. That means a 10 to 80% charge, or roughly 220 or 250 miles of additional range. You'll get that in around 30 minutes. The 60 kilowatt Scenic charges at up to 130 kilowatts, but because it's a smaller battery, you'll actually get to 80% charge in the same amount of time. So that's the equivalent of gaining around 130 to 160 miles of additional real-world range. A full charge from a 7 kilowatt home charger will take up to 13 hours. Do you know what? All of those numbers are actually pretty good. It's much quicker than charging in most rivals, a lot of which have 100 kilowatt charging rates. Well done. Right, if we compare this to a competitor like the E3008, which Ginny has driven very recently, price-wise, the smaller batteries, very kind of similar size batteries for the smaller version. The Peugeot is like 45 grand and this is £37,500. If you go for the longer range version or the bigger batteries like what we have here, this is £41,000. The Peugeot is touching 50 grand. Like, it's just bonkers. And in the Peugeot, you have less space in the rear seats and a smaller boot because it's got that coupe kind of design at the back. Oh, it's not looking good for Peugeot, is it? Looking good for Renault, though. This is great. So come on then, what do we think of the Renault Scenic? I'll be honest, I think it's a cracking thing. I really do. I mean, it drives lovely. It's very comfortable. It's unbelievably spacious inside. That boot's a bit weird and a bit deep, but that's not really a major problem, is it? It's already won European Car of the Year. Did you know that? Yeah, there's obviously something very special about it. And the price, that's very tempting, isn't it? Although I do have to mention the price, right? If you were to pay for one of these monthly at the moment as we film this, that long range version is £460 a month. That is even with a very healthy deposit and over 4 years. But look, that changes all the time, doesn't it? I'm sure Renault's going to throw out some wonderful deals eventually. So always keep an eye on that sort of stuff. Also, in terms of warranty, you've got 3 years and 60,000 miles. That's nowhere near as good as MG and Kia and Hyundai, but that's pretty much on par with some other brands. But you've still got 8 years and 100,000 miles on the battery. So that's good. Now, I know when it comes to this kind of price range and this kind of styling and this size, there is a lot to choose from and it can become very overwhelming. But look, if you were to choose yourself one of these, I think you'll be making a really, really good choice. But if you need any advice, pop yourself on our website, electrifying.com. You'll see everything on there. And if you haven't subscribed already, subscribe to the Electrifying YouTube channel. What are you doing? Have you not done it yet? God. Oh, and if you want to watch Ginny's E3008 video, click just there. You see that? Click that one there.